like just no weak spots, and they played solid. They did really well on controlling power-ups. I think the main problem was mainly on Bulma. They just fell apart. Started at the end of Emerald, and then this entire map has just been 20 minutes of a team falling further and further apart. I think after they went 3 caps down, if they closed out the half, maybe they could recover. But the way they just lost it. They started playing even worse, and those last 2 caps in the first half, the writing was on the wall. Weak mental game, but very well played from Lagialonia. Worthy champions. Thanks everyone. I'm just PMing Magic to find out if we could possibly do awards now or announce them on stream, because as far as I'm aware they haven't been announced on the sub.
I can do them now.
Oh, Alicia, congratulations Magic, well played.
Thanks.
Hey C.
Hey.
How does it feel, Magic, to have won ELTP for the 2nd time now?
I mean, it's fine. It's okay.
It's fine. Is it different to do it as a captain as opposed to a regular player? Does it feel different?
Definitely.
More rewarding, more difficult?
I mean, if I didn't lose, I would be pissed at the amount of work you have to put in as a captain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's different.
Bull can see what happened.
No,
Is it too soon?
too soon. Speak to me in a week.
I mean, you should have heard our comms in that game.
I can imagine.
You
That's
can
why you're
imagine,
different.
right?
Like, especially that, like, the first half of Transilia seemed like it might be alright.
Yeah.
But when it went from 3-0 to 4-0, and the 4-0 cap was definitely a big mistake.
2-0.
After that, I imagine it just got worse and worse.
It was sad. I think we really should have had that first game. And
I agree.
Yeah.
Those last 2 caps, I think, were grim on Emerald.
yeah. I don't know if we're just mentally weak, but like that was a poor showing by us in that 2nd one.
I think you were just too safe on the last minutes.
Yeah. It was well played to lag though. They didn't make any mistakes. They were solid. Thanks for streaming anyway, Jez.
No problem. Yeah.
It's gonna be exciting actually for the awards.
The awards?
Especially the last one, yeah.
Well, what is the last award?
I can only say that it has never happened before.
Ooh, I'm intrigued.
Hi.
I'm hyped.
I'm gonna send you the images for the votes.
Okay. Should I display them on stream or not?
You can, yeah.
Okay.
Now looking.
Sorry if I've ruined your plan to have a massive write-up on the subreddit or anything, but
It's still gonna happen.
cool. If you need any help writing stuff up, then you should harass lots of people.
Yeah, I probably will. Okay, here's the first one.
Oof.
Our first award for best offensive performance. It is Deadnan in week 4.
Well deserved.
Yeah, very well deserved. That was the week when we were reminded what Deadnan can do. I'm just going to look up the award voting packet so I can have the
One of them is versus us, I think. I don't know about the other.
how does that make you feel, Borg?
What?
That you were against him in the week. What was it like to play against Deadnan in the best offensive performance week?
I don't know, I wasn't know.
Just tell me when you want the next one.
I'm just going to pull up the packet so I can actually talk about it in a
Yeah,
sensible way.
I'm actually gonna do it as well.
Okay, yeah, I'm ready when you are.
Okay.
So next one is best defensive performance. Is that correct?
Yeah.
It's also first assist.
This time it is Fraser in week 1. Bulmer coming on the wrong side of some performances so far. Did they make other teams look good, or do other teams have to look good in order to beat Bulmer? That's the important question to consider here.
We'll never know.
We will never know, but Fraser had a crazy number of returns that week. Week 1 as well. He actually played against Celtag as well, and we struggled to get out of him a lot.
Yeah, I think I didn't score like... I think I scored like... Sorry, 3 caps that week or something, because I never expected our defense to be that good, especially Fraser.
Mm-hmm.
I was just marveling at the defense all game.
Absolutely insane. So far, Deadman, best defensive performance. Fraser, best defensive performance. Next award is best low knee. Is that correct, Magic?
Yes, it is.
This is the award for the player who came out at the last minute and made a big impact by subbing in for a team. And the winner is... It's Sensei Osi. 46%, well deserved. He was loaned
Great player.
more than any other player in majors, I believe. He had 120 minutes in the regular season, and I think he made an appearance in playoffs as well last week.
He played for 3 teams actually.
That's pretty crazy.
And they are all on they were all in playoffs. Like Bolmer in I think week 3 maybe.
4.
4. Then for us in week 6 and 7, and for Boost in the semis. Although it wasn't a great game that one.
Yeah, so well played to Sensei. Getting almost 50% of the
but
vote.
Yeah, they screwed up by subbing him out actually, not in, I think.
Yeah, that whole situation was just weird.
He would have done fine, I bet.
Interesting to see the vote was split so many ways, and it's good that we've had so many strong players around to hear the call and sub in from ages.
Since his cap per grab is 18, so yeah, do that.
18 caps per grab. It takes a special player to achieve stats like that.
Insane play.
Next award up is that cohesive unit, Magic.
Yeah, and you'll be happy to know that Celtag won.
Celtag won, winning the league without
Jesus
I'm glad about this. Like our team, this is the team I captained. But we didn't really have a single standout player, and we didn't have a sort of a way to win, or like a specific person or play that would get us through. But we kind of, as a unit, I think we performed better than the sum of our parts.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I think that was the biggest surprise of the season. It's not that surprising that you did well, but I think that the dominance that you had was actually insane. And especially when you watch the games, you can see that everyone is playing very well with each other. And you also showed up every week to scrim and stuff like that.
Nice.
I definitely wish that we played again in playoffs, but it was unlucky. Yeah.
Yeah, Bullmare listed on the vote, but didn't even get a single vote. I'm sorry, Paul. I think if the vote had been done again, given the playoff performances, then I think the way you played against us in the semi-final, I think Bullmare could have stolen some votes there.
Yeah, Lag as well, to be fair.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Laguloni in the final looked far more cohesive than Bullmare. No offense, Bullmare. I'm sorry.
I'm numb, don't worry.
Next up is the award for the most well-rounded player.
Yeah, and you might be happy again.
So this is the award for the person who does well on O and D across the map.
What a surprise.
And it is Jerry. That's me. I am happy. Thank you, Magic.
Shout out to Maki with 1 vote.
I'm actually surprised Anom didn't get more votes, given that he switched to offense for the first time, in majors, having not played it before, and yet still managed to perform at a pretty high level.
Yeah, I think his only problem was that he was against you. That was kind of hard to look past. It's kind of tough when you do votes when you only can vote for one player, because it's gonna fuck up the other players' votes.
I think it's also tricky as well because when you're playing O, it's hard to have a sort of D impact. Like there isn't like a single D stat that really matters. Like you can get some returns, but like 20 extra returns, it doesn't look very good. It doesn't look as good as when you're playing D. You get some extra caps because like obviously caps are valued no matter whether you're playing O or D.
Yeah, that's true. Like on offense, you have a few stats that you can kind of define the performance by, and they can happen in like 30 seconds or something like that, or the whole game. It kind of depends on who's playing. So for a defender, it's kind of it's easier to just play like a minute of offense and get a few caps than it is for an offender to go a minute on defense and do well.
Next up is an interesting award. It's the Best Valued award. So Fraser, Umbers, Empuddy, Imperius, OK Then, and OC were nominated.
It's actually very, very interesting, especially considering the vote.
Ooh.
The results.
Interesting. I'm excited. Top is OK Then. Nice. So he got. It's a very. This is the most split vote we've had so far. OK Then coming top with 30%.
And I think any of those players could have taken it. It's kind of hard to choose between them.
Yeah, I agree on that. Okay, obviously OC went for 0, which probably upped his percentage a bit. Fraser went for 42, which probably made it harder for him to win this one. Grimpen and Puddy, I think both would have had a reasonable chance of getting it, but OK Then, yeah.
Yeah, and for Grimpen and Puddy, it's also kind of hard because all of your team was especially well drafted, like for the value of them.
Yeah. My draft strat kind of meant they ended up going for really cheap prices as well, so they were always going to look good in this. Even though sort of in theory it was more like 40 on Umbers, 30 on Grimpen and Puddy or whatever.
Yeah, I thought about like doing it for
what
picks,
their value would have been, yeah. But it would
it's hard for
super hard to calculate,
majors. Yeah.
Ooh, that's an interesting one though. What's up next? Up next, it's the tourist attraction. OK Then, hot off his win of Best Value, will he get his win of tourist attraction? And he does, scoring over 50%. Sin, the only real competitor. It makes sense. OK Then's team did better. I think OK Then also was more impactful.
Yeah.
Especially in the matches we just saw. His decision making with the flag was pretty useful. I think it made a big difference, whereas Sin did well. Like, he was a good defender. But I don't think he changed the game as much as OK Then probably did.
Yeah, it kind of depends on the rest of the team as well. Because I think for Cynical it wasn't the greatest of fits. I think, at least with how the team played, they obviously did better in playoffs, and that's where he really shined. Like the semi-final against you, he was playing really well. But in this season, it's kind of hard for an American, especially on defense, in this season, to make that much of an impact. And playing with Hyponom, who's also very good as well.
Possibly if the final had been closer, or if essentially if Bournemouth hadn't fallen apart, possibly it would have made Sin look like a better contender for OK Then. But
yeah.
Because I mean, when Bournemouth were playing well and like in the first half of Emerald or whatever, he was looking good. But as soon as Bournemouth started falling, like when you're playing on high ping, all you can really do is kind of match the level of your teammates and sort of make them better. But when they have lost the plot and the game's over, there's essentially nothing you can do.
True.
So next up is the Team Player of the Season. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Awarded to the most underappreciated ball of the season. So this is the player who isn't one of the top contenders for O Player of the Season or D Player of the Season, but does what their team needs and makes big impacts, regardless of maybe not getting the most stats.
And again, it could have gone to anyone really.
But it goes to Magic Pigeon, part of the winning La Guialonia. beating out Jerry, Empuddy, and Nub. And I think a worthy winner. I don't think you've had enough conversation about you so far this season, Magic. I think you were kind of slightly overshadowed by your defense, but not really sort of like fairly, because you and Okaden have been a really solid offense as well, and you've linked up with them well.
Yeah, I think interestingly for me, I had a whole different plan for my team if I were to make one for a long time, and once I did, I kind of had to completely change that, especially with, like, the first reason is my defense was way better than I thought it could be, and the second one was that it's actually kind of better for me to get Okaden out of base and let him do his magic than it is the other way around.
Mm-hmm. And that's what you want for a team ball, somebody who's willing to pile the stats on a teammate and make them shine rather than going for the glory yourself. I like that.
I've always actually thought that I wasn't that good of an attacker, at least in the way I want to play. I never really enjoyed going for most caps or something like that, so it kind of makes sense for me to play differently. If I tried, I can't say that I would have done half as good as Bulk, for example. So I'm not saying that this award should be taken as something that I'm giving up to play differently, but yeah, it just worked out with the team I had.
Okay, so now we're going to be coming on to some of the most hotly contested awards. Are we starting with the O Player of the Season, MP?
Yes, indeed.
So this was one that was fought between Deadnan, Imperius, Bulk, Okaden, and Anom were the nominations.
Mm-hmm.
Here we find out who was our O Player of the Season. It was Deadnan. It wasn't close.
Yep.
Imperius was the next most votes with 16%, but Deadnan 60%. I think that is fair. The weeks when Deadnan wasn't there, Boost and Dynamo looked like a completely different team. They looked like they just couldn't function. They couldn't cap. They couldn't do anything. Yeah, I'm not at all surprised by that.
And playing against Boostin, I think that everyone can agree that Deadnan was the biggest threat of their team. Like, obviously, Shara did very, very, very well. But for us, it wasn't as hard as containing Deadnan and not letting him run amok.
Mm. Yeah, I think Bulk possibly deserved to get a few more votes, but
yeah, it's also
yeah.
kind of hard with the voting.
Yeah, their team didn't do well, and didn't do well in the regular season, which is what the votes were based on. And Bulk didn't kind of make enough impact in the regular season, despite getting a lot of caps.
They kind of found their groove after the regular season, so it's kind of hard to judge the players by their stats in that season. But obviously, Bulk is very good. Should have maybe been second.
Yeah.
Although, yeah, Grimp also had a pretty good season. I think you could rely
Grimp
on
was
him
really useful for us
in each game.
Yeah, for sure. Now we're going on to another huge award, the Defensive Player of the Season. We've got Hypername, we've got Fraser, we've got Shera, we've got Unvers, we've got EU Sin. Who's going to take it? I'm suspecting not EU Sin, but any of the others are reasonable options.
He did get votes.
He did get votes. Interesting. This
Actually,
is going to be.
Sorry, a correction. A vote.
He got a vote. And who's going to win it? It's Fraser, 52%. Is that the same amount that someone else got a couple of? But yes, Fraser beating out Shera for the Defensive Player of the Season. Hypernome did not get a single vote. Sin got more votes than Hypernome. That is interesting.
I think we can call that an upset.
I think we can call that an upset. Sheratinho would be a lot of people's favourites for D Player of the Season, especially going into it. But Fraser has pulled out really good performances week after week. Him and Etche just definitely the strongest defense this season.
Yeah, and I think we have to give Fraser a lot of credit for how good our defense was playing, because it's not like Etche is a bad defender, and obviously he's pretty much as good as Fraser, but Fraser has the leadership that comes into play, especially in those hard games that we had. And he was always around to make sure that the team worked and scrim and help me around the team. So it's pretty great to have that kind of player on your team.
Yeah, Fraser starts running at you and you start getting scared. That's how it normally works when I'm playing
That's
against
true.
him. And a well-deserved D player of the season. Am I right in thinking we've only got one award left to go, Magic?
Yes, and it's the big one.
It is the big one. It's the MVB Ballon d'Or awarded to the most valuable ball this season. So there were 7 people nominated for this, right?
Yes.
Umbers, myself, Shera, Deadnan, Fraser, Anom, and Bulk.
6 people got votes.
6 people got votes. Can you rather than showing the picture instantly on screen, can you reveal them from lowest votes to highest votes? Because that would be good.
Okay, so tied at 5th. We have 2 best friends. One of them is Bulk, and he can guess who the other guy is. I think.
I'm confused. I'm scared.
It's Bulk and Anom at 5th.
Okay, interesting.
Or Bulk.
So who does that leave left in the running?
Anvers didn't get votes, unfortunately.
Anvers did not get votes. Sad
but
times.
his buddy on defense got quite a few.
Interesting.
So you're the... Actually, I messed that up completely because I kind of don't want to reveal the actual standings because Bulk and Anom aren't actually 5th.
Oh,
but
drama.
they're at the last place, I guess, if you want to call it that.
Sure.
Then you have Jerry.
Nice.
And the big reveal is the other part of the results.
So here we go. It's about to come on screen. Who won MVB this season? It's a 3-way tie! No way! Deadnan, Shera, and Fraser. The 3-way tie for MVB.
And I think it's kind of fitting.
Has that
for
ever
this
happened
season.
before?
I don't think we even had a 2-way tie.
In the history of ELTP. That is crazy.
And it's funny because it was decided by last-minute votes as well. It was kind of going one way at the start, then another way, then it kind of evened out at the end.
Wow. What a way to end the season. Three MVP. Do they each get a whole MVP award, or do they each get 1/3 of an MVP award? I think there's going to be a lot of arguing about that in the days and weeks to come.
Yeah, we need drama.
There weren't any prizes contingent on who was the MVP, were there?
I
Because
hope not.
that would be fantastic. Oh, wow. Yeah, and Shera and Deadnan, between them, both on the same team, securing over 50% of the vote. Their team didn't even make the final.
Yeah, but I'm kind of glad that they're tied because it would have been harsh to make one of them not get first in MVP just because they had the other one on their team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. Possibly both of them got held back in terms of their number of votes because the others sort of stole some of the credit for the team.
Yeah, and to give them credit, both voted for the other person. So.
Aww. So, so all they needed to do was vote for themselves to win MVP. But
yeah,
I like that a lot. They voted for other people.
Yeah, respect. And that's all of them, I think.
That is all of the awards for majors. I assume, will we do the same thing again for minors tomorrow night after?
Yeah.
Or do we wait for the minors final? That's the question. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We'll work that out later.
We can do that like mid-final or something. That's how it was done in MLTP, I think.
Yeah, we can do that if we're more organized.
We can do
than
like
we were
fancy
this week,
graphics and stuff.
I'm up for it if you are.
Yeah, I should be around.
Cool.
Thanks for streaming, by the way.
No problem. Thanks to everyone who sat around to watch and is still watching. It's been a good evening. Very well played, Magic.
Thanks.
Lagilonia, champions of ELTP Season 15.